And that's I'm just thinking that sounds an awful lot worse than what it is because we were supposed to be down in the bar, but you couldn't be bothered. But look what I got,
Well,
Justin.
well,
Look what
I
I got.
know, but
Lovely buns.
it's improved right already. The broadband isn't much cop there because you're all
I know.
pixely already.
Well, I'll just eat some of these buns in the
I
lovely
can't see
hotel.
what those buns are. Mark, away round to the Culloden and get those buns for me. Get them off, Marty. Get them off. Get them off, Marty. So Marty's in the Culloden tonight. If you
Yeah.
want to enter our competition, it's dead easy. All I want you to do is comment, like, and share below and on YouTube. Where is Marty? What year was the battle it was named after? And where are we next week? And if you can't work it out, you have serious ability problems because the answers are on screen and you should be able to Google the year of the thing. Next week, we are together and we are actually at the Whiskey Festival in Alloa Town Hall, and it's going to go out early in the afternoon. But this week, it's the Whiskey Companion Carl is going to join us in about 20 minutes' time. And, well, it's a weird week, Carl, hasn't it been?
It's been a very strange week. Very strange indeed.
Yeah, it's just nuts. It's just absolutely mental. But it's us. So there you go.
I think people went a bit crazy with the double weekend, the double bank holiday. So just alcohol going to the brain.
Yeah, along with they must have had a good week at Cheltenham. That's probably
I think so. There were some crazy prices.
There was some crazy prices. So Justin, we hit the news.
We will hit the news, but I want to say hello to all these people that have tuned in this week. We're in double-digit figures already. Vic Cameron saying good evening, chums. There, that's great.
The Whiskey
great
Minister.
He is indeed. And let me see. William Macallen saying good evening as well. Peter Stewart, hello to you, Peter. Glad to see you've dropped in this week. Patrick Mulkey saying hello. Remember to comment, like, and share. Subscribe on YouTube if you haven't already. Mark Kerr saying hello. Tony Sillett saying hello. Julie Mason saying hello. Sean McLaren as well. Thomas Jones. I think that's everybody. I've given everybody a mention. That's
Mark Kerr and Declan Boyd.
So yes, it is. We'll hit the theme tune. Here we go. There we go. Great stuff.
To anybody watching the show that's got epilepsy, we do apologise. Just in case you're rolling around the floor having a fit. Thanks to Justin.
Boy.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh dear. It's been a strange week. I've been busy all week. But yeah. This week we saw the full announcement of the International Wine and Spirits competition. Now, you know, I'm a little bit skeptical of lots of the whiskey awards and all this kind of stuff because, well, some of them aren't that. You have to pay certain amounts to get in and all this kind of stuff. It's just, anyway, these ones would probably be considered the top ones, or certainly up there.
The most credible ones is what you're saying.
Certainly they're up there. I mean, the judging panels, you've got Billy Layton, you've got Richard Patterson, WST, the WSET, tutors and stuff, David Stewart, really heavy hitters, and these guys are not going to be bought by having it running a competition. They're brought in to judge, and they're some of the most respected people in spirits world and other categories as well. So yeah, this isn't whiskey, but I do have to say congratulations to Copeland. Copeland won the Irish gin, best contemporary gin in the world, 99 points out of 100. What's not to like? Yeah.
Wow.
For a little outfit we interviewed a couple of weeks ago, and you have to say, well done. Good on them. And flying the flag, 99 points out of 100. You can't argue with that.
That is good going. Actually, our podcast on that Copeland Gin one is going exceptionally well. So remember, wherever you get your podcast from, ask Alexa or Google to play it, and it'll automatically play it on your smart speaker as well. But it's a pretty in-depth interview. He stuck with us for a long time. Actually, we overran that night. We won't be overrunning tonight because you've got to be up early.
Yes, and the clocks go forward. I've got an Indian tour operators group here this week, and to be fair, my times have to be very strict, and the clocks go forward an hour tonight, and this could prove quite tricky in the morning. But anyway, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. Now, our friends over at Black Bottle. Now, some people got some samples of this. This is the Alchemy series. I've told people to get this because it's superb. It's really good. Black Bottle. Now, bear in mind, this is about £24 a bottle. That got 99 points out of 100. That's how good people are rating this. Okay, it won a trophy, and it does come along with the Sonic seasoning that we talked about a few weeks ago. So get yourselves a bottle of it, guys, because it's really, really worth it. Another trophy winner, Redbreast 27. Okay, Redbreast 27 got 98 points. Okay.
Wow.
Now the difference in price, let's just put it in perspective. Redbreast 27 is £410 plus a bottle, and Black Bottle got 99 points and is 25 quid. Okay, now I know you wouldn't really compare the two. They're certainly not like for like, but it kind of tells you roughly what they thought of Black Bottle and the quality that is. So again, round of applause for those guys. Hats off. They're knocking it out of the park. They really are. I mean, me and you both tried the Sonic seasoning, the thing, and we're both blown away by it. It's a superb piece of I don't know, advertising, whatever you want to call it. It was fantastic. Not gimmicky in any way, but anyway, that's another thing.
Don't you find it's amazing that a lot of these people have been guests on our show that are winning? It's almost like we've half predicted the outcome.
You know we have, Justin. Sending out vibes. Me and Billy Layton are on the same level.
Could be. If only you were in the same money.
If only I had a smidgen of his talent, I would be more than happy. The man forgot more about whiskey today than I'll ever know, but there you go. Anyway, now, outstanding gold medals is these are awards. Teeling 30-year-old, Teeling 30-year-old rum cask. Again, Black Bottle, Island Smoke, 98 points out of 100. Redbreast 21 got an outstanding award. But there was two distilleries for me that really, really stood out in terms of what they were being awarded. One was the Holyrood Distillery up near Holyrood House in Scotland and Glendronach. Now, I was asked a few weeks ago by some people about Macallan. The prices of Macallan they're just off the scale. Springbank, I've been talking about that for about a year. It's basically heading the same way. It's not far away from it. And I was asked about what's the next one, and probably Glendronach. Very, very, very well respected. The older bottles, again, going to be worth an awful lot more than you're paying for them now. So if anybody's wanting a bit of advice on investment bottles, old bottles of Glendronach will absolutely fly off the shelves, and auction prices will just go sky high very, very, very shortly. So yeah, what else did I see? Best pot still in the world, Teeling, Wonders of Wood. World's best grain whiskey was the Whistler, Mosaic Sala. Best whiskey producer went to Buffalo Trace. And very good. Now, the one thing, see, Connor's agreeing with me. Old Glendronachs are spectacular. They are. I know lots of guys that are massive fans of Glendronach, and as people can't afford to buy Macallan for investment, Springbank's going out the window, and they'll start looking for something else. Who knows what we'll end up picking, but Glendronach would be certainly within heading towards that. Master Distiller winner of the year was Middleton's Kevin O'Gorman. So I spoke to Kevin a few times, and nice guy he is. So yeah, congratulations on that. And communications icon of the year is our friend and host of the charity tasting that's happening on Monday night in aid of Ukrainian refugees in Poland, is Felipe Schreiberg. So congratulations to him. A nice guy doing nice things. Deserves everything he gets. So yeah.
I mean, it is literally amazing. We've interviewed the who's who of these awards this year. It's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. we'll have to get the likes of Brendan on and see if he can get Distiller of the Year next year. So anyway, gold medals, a couple of nice gold medals. 13-year-old Teeling single grain, Bushmills 21 and 16, very well done as always, and Ben Bracken from Lidl, which is, I mean, you're not paying big money for it, very easily drinkable and decent quality, and you're picking up for, what is it, 20 quid a bottle or something. So yeah, there was other awards announced this week. Unfortunately, I didn't really have time to go through them, but you know, the drinks awards, congratulations to people who won, because it means a lot to these people, you know. And nice, good to see them enjoying themselves and heading out instead of it all being virtual as well, you know.
No.
It
was good to get out to Dublin last week.
Yeah, that's what you can remember of it.
I can't remember anything. It's fading from my memory fast. But there you go.
That's all good news and all happy news. Something else that hit the news this week, and I'd like to know what people think about this. Okay, anyone who knows me knows that I like to support my own, the Irish whiskey and all that. All the other stuff we do as well, we talk about, but Irish is really where my heart is. The Irish Whiskey Association has dropped its application for certification of the word Irish whiskey in the United States. In essence, they put in a patent application for the word Irish whiskey. Now,
sure, standard English.
Well, let's just put it into context. The Irish Whiskey Association is an umbrella group for some, not all, distilleries in Ireland. But it's a private lobby group. Doesn't belong to the Irish government or whatever. It doesn't encompass every distillery in Ireland or every whiskey producer or whatever. So I think is that not like taking the piss totally? I mean, it's kind of hang on. Irish whiskey belongs to all of us, and to turn around and say you're going to patent it and put a certification on it, it's awful. It's awful. No, it's very disappointing. Now, it was objected. Obviously, it was objected to by plenty of people, including West Cork Distillers, who a lot of people don't appreciate just how big that they have got. I mean, they're about the fourth biggest distillery in Ireland now. I mean, they produce lots of stuff.
It was a blatant power grab.
So it was. That's it. I mean, it was awful. Now, one of the other things, it was objected to by the Irish Craft and Artisan Distillers Association, which I'm not exactly sure who all they represent, because if you go to their website, the only people that are listed is Ballykeefe. Now, Ballykeefe.
This must be is this the People's Judea front or the Judea's front?
Well, Ballykeefe don't really speak to anybody. Nobody seems to know. Nobody knows anything about them because.
Hold on, I've come up with a great reason why they can't speak to us.
Right.
It's us.
Very well, maybe just you.
Could be.
But don't forget, you've got the Irish Whiskey Guild. So you have the Judean People's Front, the People's Front of Judea, and the People's Front of the Judean people. You know what I mean? But I thought to myself, you know, it's trying to patent the words Irish whiskey. I mean, it's hard to figure out what their justification for that could have been. You know, but anyway. It wasn't the smartest move on their part because it was never going to pass, and it just creates ill will. Correct? I don't think I'm far wrong on that.
Well, it's not difficult to create ill will. Sure, it's not.
No, well, the thing is, it's almost doing it deliberately.
Yeah.
Peter says if it was to happen, it should be owned by a co-op. Well, probably, yeah.
Yeah.
There should be. I don't think the big producers and the small producers should be that far apart, to be quite honest.
There's Michael Matthews saying something doesn't feel right about that decision.
There's a whole lot doesn't feel right about it to me, but there you go. It's done and dusted, and hopefully they'll not do anything as sort of daft again. Now, the UK has dropped the last remaining tariffs on American bourbon, and about time too. The US has dropped tariffs on steel. Yeah. So there you go. There's the glorious leaders. God, it's not a wonder Putin started a war when you see who's in charge in the West. Oh dear.
Yes.
But yeah, they finally dropped bourbon. Hopefully that means we can get a bit more bourbon at reasonable prices and more American spirits, because there are other American spirits are available. I've grown a bit attached to bourbon. I've got a bit more of an appreciation for it since I was in the States. So yeah, that's
Lovely
nice.
stuff.
What?
No, I was just going to say, it's good to see.
Yeah. Now, remember last week we were talking about the Macallan ad, and the one for the boy. Remember we were talking about River Rock, our friends at River Rock getting the ad banned because they showed one guy drinking like a little whiskey out in a walk. They said, "Oh no,
yeah."
That." Macallan showed a boy jumping off a cliff and growing wings and flying away, and that was deemed all right. Well, Macallan have done another slightly strange one with a girl, Mcallen. They've teamed up. It's called Tales of the Macallan Volume 1. So it's all images of Scotland and classic music. It's not really the way I see Scotland. I love Scotland. It's very close to my heart. But the typical Scotland's iron brew and bit of swearing and kilts and stuff, So this is a bit more classical, And Nicola Benetti is Scots-Italian, and she started a foundation to help people provide inspiration and enrichment to educational networks and communities. Now, the money Macallan's making at the minute, they could have hired the original Beatles, including the ones that they could have paid to have them dug up, reanimated, and done a whole lot. But they've decided that this is the way forward for them. It's quite nice. So yeah, we'll play a bit of it.
Oh, I think we'll play it all. What about that there then?
Now, again, it's kind of hard to know exactly where the whiskey really comes in the whole thing, but Scotland looks amazing.
Just had to run and grab a Macallan to cool down. Very good. Very good. That's very subtle.
I'm led to believe that you weren't well this week. I hope you get well soon, buddy. I hope you're feeling an awful lot better. I just happened to see something last night. So yeah, hope you're feeling better. But Scotland looks as amazing as Scotland always looks. It's a stunning country, absolutely beautiful. And you have to say she looks amazing. And I have a bit of a soft spot for women playing the violin. It makes me go a little bit squidgy, if I'm totally honest. It's lovely.
It has the opposite effect in me.
Oh no, I do. I think it was. I thought I'd seen it, but I thought it's another bit of a weird one from Macallan. But there you go. So that's Tales of the Macallan, which will come out. You'll have to enter a ballot, probably donate some organ to the charity, and leave your wallet there. If for the right to buy one, when you get it, you can flip it onto an auction and make yourself a lot of money as well. So yeah, that's kind of the way things are going at the minute. But I thought it's quite beautiful. Its relevance to whiskies maybe a little bit suspect, but there you go. Now, this week I was actually in Hillsborough Castle this morning with the tour operators I'm with here this week or this weekend, and Prince Charles was there earlier on this week, and he planted a tree. And if you haven't been to Hillsborough Castle, it's a beautiful place to go and see. It's really, really nice, historic. Everybody from Benjamin Franklin to the Dalai Lama and all's been there. But Prince Charles, he's actually, I think, either still in Waterford. He was certainly earlier on today. And he bumped into Big Ned Gahan down in Waterford for a touch of class. So, yeah, he got a touch of Waterford whiskey. Was a bit surprised that it was 50%. He said it was quite pretty. So it was Waterford Crystal and Waterford whiskies. So one of the things was Ned explained to them that it was single farm, and Charles asked him, "Does it make any difference?" Now it was a good job Mark Rainier wasn't there. We're going to be there for about 3 weeks, but yeah, he actually went to a farm the next day, Shane Fitzgerald Farm, and tried another Waterford whiskey. So I think they have a convert. I think Prince Charles is now a Waterford fan. So yeah, it must.
Well, he knows his whiskies.
He does. He has a royal warrant at the Lefroy and a couple of other bits and pieces. So he's been drinking whiskey. He actually can buy a from Highgrove. You can buy his own Scotch whiskey. Might be nice to see if he brings out an Irish one. That would be a nice one. So yeah, so that's basically my news. Oh, do we have another one, do we? Another image.
Connor's saying that's Luna, it's not SFO. Oh, single farm origin. Maybe.
Oh no, but he was explaining about the single farm origin, and Prince Charles made a comment. Does it make a difference? So yeah, he was explained about the whole project down there that single farms, and this is a blend. He was told it was a blend.
There you go. Waterford going to get the royal warrant. Could you imagine? Yes, stranger things have happened.
For anyone who's not sure what a royal warrant is basically a member of the royal family, member of the royal family, given patronage to something, and they get a crest on it, and it means they become a member of the Royal Warrant Society. You automatically get stocked in Selfridges, you get stocked in Harrods, you get stocked in lots of very top end shops. That's what royal warrants work.
Well, it's still the RNLI, so stranger things have happened. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So there you go.
You wanted to mention the Glendalough, did you?
Oh yes, there was. We were talking about the Irish Whiskey Association earlier on. This is the thing. Remember, we talked about the sustainability. We'll have highlighted that Glendalough Irish Whiskey source oak for whiskey casks in Wicklow, and for every oak tree that they cut down, they replant at least 7 new oak trees. There is a video that's on Waterford's YouTube page. You can go on and see it. Explains a bit more about it. So yeah, good man. More broadleaf forest. That's what we need, Justin. More broadleaf forest.
That's good. It is good. It's good.
And that's basically the roundup of the news this week.
Now, just in case people don't know where you are this week, you're in the Culloden Hotel. What year was the Battle of Culloden? And all you need to do then is tell us where we're going to be next week, which is obviously there. And you can win yourself a box of whiskey stones. Simple as that. Very, very easy to do.
You get a fiddle with Justin Stones.
Oh boy!
Look, Justin,
we'll be getting Zuckerberg.
Look, Justin. Welcome, Justin. Luke, my bins.
I'm not looking at the screen. I'm looking at I'm looking at the notifications. There you go. Michael Matthews says the sounds of that music is playing in my house is when he comes home from whiskey tasting. your head spinning. You mean your head spinning? Something like that there. There you go. There's Vic Cameron saying, "Gorse, it's the same smell as the cis-lactone from American Oak. Nice coconut notes."
Coconut notes. So it does. It's lovely. Anyone, gorse, it's a sort of prickly yellow flowered thing, and if you rub it gets a nice coconutty note of it. It's lovely.
Yeah, it's like the colour of the houses in Rathlin. They're yellow gorse and purple heather. Lovely stuff. Oh, look at that there. We're getting 1745. I think it's 46. It started off in 45, but it trundled on to 46, didn't it? Something like that there.
Not the battle of
Jordy, if you think you're going to win that and I'm going to send a kilo to Canada, you've got another thing coming.
You said you would. You said you would.
I said I would send it most places. He might be the winner, but he thankfully he hasn't put the right dates and times. Judge's decision is final. No correspondence will be entered into. There you go. Right. There you go. There's Kieran in Hollywood. Culloden. Look at that there. That's the first guy to get it perfectly spot on.
If he's in Hollywood, I could pull it into him on the way through any Belfast.
Is his name Kieran Hollywood? Or is Paul Hollywood's son the baker? Because I quite like Paul Hollywood stuff.
Aye.
There you go. That's good. Oh, Vic Cameron saying he's got his clan grave there. Oh yeah, the Camerons were the nemesis, weren't they? Yeah, I think they were.
But everybody goes. It's got really popular up there because of Outlander. Anyone who's not sure what Outlander is a very bizarre show where basically a nurse has been time travels back to the Jacobite rebellion in the 18th century, and she falls in love with this rugged Highlander dude, played by Sam Houston. And basically what they do is they see people in red coats, the English red coats, and basically take off all their clothes. That's essentially what happens every single episode. And anyone who's ever been to the Highlands of Scotland knows that it's not conducive really to taking your clothes off up there. Certain appendages wouldn't necessarily be that impressive if you were stuck halfway up one of the Munros. So there you go. Aye.
I hate Highlander. I hate Outlander. I hate them shows.
Highlander. Don't you say a word about Highlander. It's one of the best films ever made.
Terrible. It's terrible. Terrible movie.
Shut up. You wouldn't know a good
terrible movie. What have we got to do next? Have we got to speak to the Whiskey Companion? We do, because it's a packed show tonight, and you said you might talk about smoothness as well, whatever that is. Where do we see? Where do I hide this?
Some terminology.
Where is he?
I really want Vic to stay on.
All right, Vic's still there. Carlos. Cameron's were at Culloden big time. There you go. So, good evening, Carl.
Good evening. How are you getting on, lads?
Not too bad, Carl. What about yourself?
All good. She's boiling in the heat, but getting by. So.
Yeah, that's funny because my
it's the first sunny day in the first 3 sunny days of the year, and you're complaining.
I'm sitting the day with like a t-shirt on, and it's quite warm. All my Indian groups have hats and coats on. They're all from Bombay or Mumbai and all that kind of stuff.
You brought the good weather back with you, Martin. From
this is it.
Texas.
See, now, Connor and Shane Foley have both said Highlander, brilliant film, Highlander classic. You know nothing, McCartney, nothing about films. Zeppo. So Zep.
Carl, agree with me in this one. Highlander is naff.
No. I haven't watched it, to be honest.
What?
Good on you. Don't ever watch it. He hasn't ever watched it.
No.
He's never watched it.
The youth of today. Little wonder we're in this.
There's only one good Scottish movie, and we all know what it is.
Braveheart.
The Wicker Man. The Wicker Man is the only good Scottish movie.
No. Greyfriars Bobby's a classic too. So don't knock that either. Suppose you haven't seen that either, Card.
I'm not a big movie buff, to be honest. More of a TV show, man.
Bench set, box sets. Card. The auction world has went mental.
It has.
Some of the stuff that I saw last week, you're just sitting there thinking,
what's going on?
What's going on? I'll tell you a wee story about during the week, okay? Tell us what's been going on. Fill us in.
So the first thing I want to focus on was the charity items that went in. So there were two big ones from Irish Whiskey Auctions. So one was the first ever Middleton Very Rare 2022 bottle number 1 that went for sale, and it reached a staggering €10,200. So including the commission, which is 10%, that's over 11,000 going to the charity of choice. So that was huge.
Yeah.
And fair play to the buyer. It's a very special bottle to get.
Exactly. Good for everybody all round, to be fair. I mean, big Anthony and Kay, well done.
Yeah, no, it's brilliant to see. And then we had a Powers 14-year-old, so that was from carry out off licenses. So it was a single cask release that they brought out, and they donated that, and that went for 670. So that was again another huge hitter. And then Whiskey Auctioneer actually had 5 bottles that were charity lots from Douglas Lang and Co. bottled Scotch whiskey blend, and it was to celebrate Karen Betts, the former Scotch Whisky Association chief exec, moving on. So that was all auctioned off to charity. So again, very good numbers coming out of there, and very good to see that the auction platforms are using their platforms and reach to get that money and give it to those in need.
Again, round of applause, well done.
To say, and fair play to the buyers as well.
Yeah,
very, very generous.
Yeah, I mean that owning a bottle number 1 of Middleton. I mean, let's be honest, that's about as collectible as anything's going to get in Irish whiskey.
It's unheard of. So we'll see what happens. It may become a yearly recurrence. We'll wait and see. What up until now, the last 38 releases, number 1s have probably been drank, because they were just given to people who are either higher up in IDL or special guests. So you would think that they would have been drunk or sold on.
the IDL office party. Yeah,
boy,
goes to show you. So what else has been going on?
So up next, we should have the Silent Distilleries.
Yeah, so, these are funny ones.
This was interesting, and obviously amazing bottles. Piece of Irish history, really, not just Irish whiskey history, but Irish history itself. And it showcases the craftsmanship that runs through Ireland with Waterford Crystal, and of course every bottle.
They didn't make the reserve car. Some of them didn't quite make the reserve.
Yeah, so I thought it was interesting to see the 2 Chapter 2s that showed up on auction didn't meet the reserve. So obviously there was more bottles that were produced of Chapter 2, and it was slightly more expensive. And there's still some that are available to buy. So we can kind of see, if we dig into that data a bit more, why they may have not met the reserve. But the Chapter 1 is just on an upward trajectory. Starting out, the first one that sold back in March 2020, so 2 years ago now, was 42,000. 5% over the sale price, and it's just going up since then. So to go to 48,000 when Chapter 2 didn't even meet its reserve and stopped at 40,000 is something crazy, and it just shows that there is those that there's more people coming in now to Chapter 2 that didn't have Chapter 1 in the first place.
Yeah,
They're trying to backfill that collection.
Yeah.
So it's good to see that new blood and new players coming into it.
New money is what we're talking
New
about. I
money.
mean, let's be honest. If you've £80,000 on 2 bottles, you're £80,000 plus bottles. It's yeah. It's a lot of money. A lot of money.
It's a lot of money, but it's only going one way. And I mean, if you look to the Scotch market, like some 45, 46-year-old whiskey,
Yeah,
that's cheap money.
Yeah, I mean, it's Justin actually put up a thing about Irish whiskey's going the way of Scotch. It is, but it's a long way to go. A long way to go. And I mean, whiskey prices at auction, Irish whiskey, what would be an equivalent in Scotland? It's still nowhere near it. It just isn't. I mean, you look at Springbank and the way it's went in the last year. Even trying to buy a standard Springbank is nearly impossible now. Now they brought out a Ukrainian refugees bottle there this week, and what they had to do, I can't figure out the logic of this. If you wanted to buy a bottle, that could only be bought in Campbelltown or Cadenhead, sorry, and the distillery. You had to bring ID, photographic ID, and they signed your name on the front of the bottle to make sure if anybody flipped it, you get spotted. Why did they not just auction it? Why did they not just put it through as a charity, single-day charity auction, get it all done, and they'd have made far more money without this, you can't buy without us overseeing it.
You could have been buying it to flip it to make more money to give it to charity.
Well, why not just cut out the middleman and just auction it? And they would have raised an awful lot more money. That's what I would have thought, but there you go.
Yeah, and I mean there is precedent set. Whiskey Auctioneer and Scotch Whisky Auctions have both had full dedicated charity auctions where they've done similar things to that, where it's a full set or a barrel or
To me it just, I don't know. There's a certain patronizing thing where they turn around and say you can't buy it unless you get CID and write your name and all that. If you buy it, it's yours. You can do what you want with it. Really.
True. I mean, like the same thing kind of happened with the Teeling, Ukrainian one that came out there for it was Hungarian oak.
Yeah.
So yeah, they sold it on their shop and in their shop, and then it was you do what you want with it. Now, in my opinion, it doesn't look good when you're selling it on.
No.
Because you're making money from a charity.
But I don't see why they couldn't have just done a straight auction and people would have been happy to pay more for it. There you go.
Exactly.
There you go.
So complete collections are being bandied about. I mean, look at this here. Look at this here. Look at the money involved.
€8,500.
I think that's not bad. I think that's a nice collection to be having. And the £8,000.
That's why I kind of wanted to bring it to attention, because there are a lot of people asking in recent times about the Writer's Tier cast strength, especially kind of the newer sets, so like 2014 to 2021 or 2015, 2016 to 2021. A lot of the newer collectors, they want to know kind of what types of prices they are around.
Yeah,
this was the first one I've seen that's a full collection, so from 2011 all the way through to 2021, which as of the other day is no longer a full collection because 2022 just got released. But it was interesting. So I looked at all of the prices in the last 6 months for each individual bottle. So the combined lowest that you could have gotten them for in the 6 months was 4,500. Then it was the highest was 6,600, and then the average was 5,300. So that's as an average over the 6 months. Now, in saying that, there are some tough ones to get. So 2011 rarely comes up. The first sale for over a year was in November 2021, and that went for nearly $2,000. So you're gonna shell out a lot of money just to get that individual bottle.
Yeah.
2012, a little bit less scarce, but still only 2 in 2021, and it went from 580 to 800. And previous to that, in 2020, it was selling for 350. So it did go up quite a lot.
Yeah.
And then 2013, 14, 15, they came regularly enough. But the likes of the 2014 and 15, they had big, huge spikes. I think the 15 went for 1100 2 months ago, and then dropped right back off. It's back down to 6 or 500, and then the others are all about 150. So.
But it is a very collectible. It's very, very easy drinking whiskey. It's Writer's Tears is a superb, really decent value for money, and the fact that you've got an annual release, it's very collectible. Very collectible.
Absolutely, yeah, absolutely.
Now, a couple of interesting ones here from Middleton. Quite an old one, going back to the mid-70s.
Yeah. So these two are kind of a word of warning in a sense. So the first one is the Middleton 1973 25-year-old. So 2 sold in the last. One was sold last month and one was sold this month, and they were both without a box and without the trimmings. So the average price generally is about 2.2 to 2.5 for that bottle with the box in a good condition. And I think someone might have missed that in the last auction because they paid nearly market price for it. And usually we see a bit of a drop off when it doesn't have all the trimmings with it. Now we don't see huge a massive 50% off, but this one was kind of more in line with what I would have expected for such a prestigious bottle, where people may have not really opened it, or they would have opened it a couple of years back, but they would have gotten rid of the packaging. So it'd be very hard to source the packaging for this.
Yeah.
But there was a little bit of a correction there with the €1,250 price point. Now it could be a bargain, and they could put it into the next auction and get it for $2,000. But yeah, I thought that was an interesting one to look at. And then this one here, the Middleton Dark Gallic Kyle Begwood. So this one came out in a staggered release by Middleton it was the first time since Bluebell, I think it was, where they didn't release everything at once. So they brought out 3-1 first in the first week or two. They only had a couple of bottles on their own site for sale, and then 2 weeks later they released bottle number 2 or 3 number 2, and then 3 or 4 weeks after that they released the whole set. So we had some crazy bidders in the first month when they thought that 3-1 was completely sold out and you couldn't get it, and they weren't going to bring any more out, and it went for like €1,000, and now it's not even making retail. So the thing I wanted to kind of highlight with this is it's don't have FOMO. It's the same with Middleton, very rare. So 2022 is doing the same thing that 2021 did, where it's selling for €500 or €400 on the auction sites at the moment. It will come down.
Yeah.
Listen, we've got about 15 minutes left, and I want to get through some of these questions before we get to the last thing tonight, because we don't want to get too far away from where they are. So a couple of people have asked. Keith McCann, good evening to you, Keith. With the news that Cologne's inaugural release is imminent, it wouldn't surprise me if they became the new Springbank.
Yeah. Absolutely. I mean, I think everybody has a soft spot for Cologne. They've brought out some fabulous stuff. Their experimental cask stuff was super. Some of them were superb. Some of them I wasn't that keen on, but it's an experiment, so that's kind of the point of it. But does anybody not like what Cologne's doing?
Another question is, can you get a Cologne release an hour after it's released? Most of the time, not anymore.
No, it's not. But the thing is, it turns up at auction and it doesn't go skyrocketing up.
No.
A lot of them, they're maybe 20, 30
I think
euros.
People are drinking them. I think people are drinking them,
but they are they are collectible too.
Mm.
They are definitely collectible. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me that Cologne become the next Springbank.
So another great question in tonight, Robert W. Johnson. Remember, if you're watching tonight for the first time, remember to comment, like, and share, hit subscribe on YouTube, and enter a competition. Where are we tonight? Marty's in a hotel named after a battle that was in Scotland in 1746. What year was that battle? And where are we going to be next week? And obviously, this is where we're going to be next week. And those are the answers to the questions. And you can win yourself a set of whiskey stones if you correctly answer those three statements. Simple as that. Now, another great question tonight coming in. Robert Johnson was asking, IWA doesn't auction the Teeling Frontline Hero charity bottles. Other charity releases will likely be the same.
Could be, yeah.
I mean, that goes back to the Ukraine thing we were talking about.
Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand the way people are paying money at auctions. People are used to paying money at auctions these days. I think they'll raise more. They would raise far more money, and it's dead easy to run a dedicated auction.
And then Connor Winders is winding us up. He's saying, how much are we going to be paying for the Dubliner cheese and onion whiskey liqueur at auction in years to come? All the money. Well, I tell you what, the Tato cheese and onion chocolate is delicious. It's delicious.
What are you talking about?
Just wait till you see the Jameson orange as well. You know, that's going to skyrocket. You know, buy everything, every bottle you can.
Oh yes. Auction away at it and donate all the proceedings to the Ukrainian refugees for your Jameson orange. No, don't.
There's Ferguson Danaher saying it's all about the cult of Cologne. You'll be having herrings this weekend. Are we going down for herrings tomorrow?
Well, as I say, Cologne. I mean, it's superb stuff, and everybody loves what they're doing. Cologne Stone broke the internet.
Broke the internet and release. Here we've another great question in there. Lenny O'Mahony is saying, what is your view on the Grinsell wood set?
It's a good one to get if you can, but Grinsell Wood 3-1 was $7,000 in the last auction. So it depends on how deep your pockets are.
Yep. He would buy it. He would have the money for that kind of thing.
Paul O'Keehan's agreeing with me. He's saying, I agree, Justin. It's for drinking. There you go. That's right. Yeah, must be. Must be.
Yeah.
I dropped you a message. That was me that dropped you a message, by the way. Listen, and what else? John McDougall, lads spending their savings at auctions. Yes,
I think it's people, whatever they want at Cheltenham. Whatever they want at Cheltenham's probably want to feel some of it. But yeah,
listen, we've one last slide to get through to, and then we might get a mention about smoothness.
Oh yeah. This was just in relation to what's been sold this month already. So every month I do an auction roundup, really, of just kind of the market as it is every month. So that'll be coming out in about 10 days or so. So it'll be the first week of April. So we have most auctions already ran. You know, to point out Irish whiskey, for example, you're talking about 500 grand total of the 12.2 million that's sold this month so far.
12.2 million. Holy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, wow. I would have Irish whiskey merchants in there as well, but their site doesn't display the previous auction history, so the finishing bids and reserves and stuff. So I can't take down their data at the moment. But once I can, I'll be putting it in. And
get it fixed, guys, so we can have a chat about it.
So tell us this, Carl, the Whiskey Companion. Where can people get the app and the details then?
Yeah, you can go to thewhiskeycompanion.com and that will give you a link to download it on iOS or Android, or you can log into the web app. Web app has the same data as the mobile app, and you can use it whether you're on a PC or mobile. So you get all the auction data and my extrapolations of that data in sometimes easy to read. Keeps you up to date.
Keeps you up to date, because I mean it's just it gets bigger and bigger and bigger. I mean, you look at what Whiskey Auctioneer are doing. Wow. I mean,
it's crazy,
incredible.
And I mean, like, even looking at it, like 500 grand in Ireland versus 12 million total across the UK and two in Europe. So
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge business now, and it's part and parcel of whiskey and enjoying whiskey these days.
absolutely.
Yeah. Now, Carl, stay on for a second because
Stay on, because we want to talk about smoothness.
we want to. There's a couple of terms, right?
My favorite term, smooth.
Right. I was trying to explain this to Justin the other day. Why I'd never used the word smooth. Because it's what does it mean? If someone says to you, Carl, oh, that whiskey's very smooth. What do you take from that? What do you think it is they mean by that?
Usually, I think they mean inoffensive. So, in a sense, like it doesn't burn your throat when you're drinking it or burn your mouth. So generally low alcohol. But I mean, like my dad is a big proponent of using the word smooth, and I've given him cast strength whiskey, and he said that was smooth sometimes. But,
See, Red Breast 12 smooth. It doesn't burn your throat.
Yeah, but you see, some people talk about it, and what they mean, they actually mean mouthfeel. Is it oily or is it body? Oh, it's very smooth. Other people seem to talk about it as if it relates to the ABV or the strength, that sort of alcohol burn. But alcohol's there; it kind of always burns. There's different levels of it. So then, what they talk about, they say, it's very smooth, and it really relates to the balance of it, and so it's a sort of meaningless phrase. It doesn't really mean anything because it's sort of a catch-all for all these different elements that are different take on what it is.
John McDougall says water is smooth, or it's only 20% or something like that. There, Connor, don't say smooth. Better not say smooth. There you go. I like saying smooth. The Dapper Man was smooth. It was smooth.
Right.
Black Bottle smooth.
What do you mean by smooth? That's my question. What do you
mean? I like it. It means I like it.
So basically, if you say, "Oh, that's smooth," it means like smooth operator. Is that what you mean? A bit like Shaft or something. No, but that's what the fuck does it mean? That's what I'm saying. People have all these different definitions for it, which whenever someone says, "Oh, that's very smooth," I don't know what they mean, because you say, this means you like it, right?
No, not for you, Marty.
No.
Very good. If only you knew how smooth my forehead system's feeling occurring.
The sickness didn't affect his sense of humor anyway.
I mean, the thing is, it sort of irritates me when people put it out especially on bottles. And Connor kind of has it right when he says, they destroy the meaning of it, because I mean, if it doesn't have a definition, you don't know what it means, and it basically means, oh, it's very smooth. But they can't. I suppose they can't put on, oh, it has a lovely mouthfeel, because most people don't know what the fuck a mouthfeel is. They don't understand. It's not such a term that they're used to.
Oh my god!
Oh, brilliant.
Poor Justin, he needs another drink. He does at this stage.
Get another drink.
Sorry, I'm going to corpse. I'm going to corpse in a minute.
Yeah, get another smooth drink. But no,
it looks like a council road. It looks like a council road. I get Botox in there. There you go.
Buttocks is what you get.
Yes, I would like that too. But anyway,
so it was just people throw this term about all the time, and it's kind of meaningless. That's why a lot of people.
Worst foam over it in the world. No, I totally get what you mean, though, Mary.
Yeah, and so I find it a bit annoying, if I'm honest. I don't think
it's like Crowher in the comments there alluded to it. It does kind of go back to people interacting with brands. Like I was on 2 distillery tours last week in Dublin, and both of them said that, you know, this whiskey is smooth, or, you know, something to that effect. And
no,
you know, it is what it is. Like
Paul's right. Everybody seems to be using it now everywhere. Smooth has been attributed to Irish whiskey for that, but I'm noticing Scottish whiskey is using similar in their sales pitches.
But the thing is, they're using it, but what does it mean? You know, it's like when people come on and say, Justin,
I got to wear a toupee one week.
So you should. So you should. I'd love to see you with syrup on. That'd be some crack. The worst haircut I've ever seen in my life, by the way. I was working in Michelin, and this guy came over and he said something, and I turned around, I looked up, and I swear this is true. He had a comb over, right? But it was like 4 strands of hair, and it went all the way over to this side where he had trimmed it round his ear. Right now, I'm sitting looking at it, just creaking around looking at his hair, and I kept thinking to myself, how long did it take to actually reach over where you have to trim it? At some point, it only got to about here, and all the rest of it. So I was like, come on, get over.
You wore a flat cap until it was long enough.
Was it hanging down to here? And that was the worst haircut I've ever seen in my life.
Tell me this guy's dead, because I don't want a letter from Reading Black.
I don't know. I think he was Canadian. I think he was. But you're just sitting looking at him, and all I could think of was nobody must love this guy, because if somebody loved him, somebody would say to him, "You look like a total tosser. Get your hair cut, you prick." Snap. But no, it was over, and it was actually trimmed around his ear. It was dead funny. Brilliant.
Anyway. There you go. Listen, it's a great way to sell whiskey to Budweiser drinkers. It's equally devoid of flavour. Listen.
I mean, it's tough, because I don't think anyone, like, if people are saying something is smooth, it means it's devoid of character. It can mean that, but I think most of the time it's down to people. Maybe they don't drink whiskey very often, or they don't. They haven't trained a palate in a sense, so they don't know the words to describe it, and the first one that they go to is smooth. And I mean, there's nothing wrong with it.
No, I actually, it just annoys me, because whenever you say to them, "Well, what do you mean?" and there's a sort of blank expression in their face where they say, "I don't. It doesn't burn."
Yeah.
And you're like, "Well, no, that's a different thing, you know."
Yeah. Well, I think it's because you're coming at it from a sense of, you know, an experienced whiskey drinker, and you know, you do reviews and stuff, and maybe the people that are saying this, they don't look at tasting notes, so they wouldn't know, you know, saying, "Oh, it tastes of vanilla," or "it tastes of caramel," or something. Now, that's not stupid, you know.
Well, as Paul says, they've kind of attributed this to Irish whiskey, and I think what the sort of original term for it probably meant that it was a bit lighter bodied, and a bit lighter and easier to drink, if you like. But for a brands, lots of them, with years and years of experience and years of engagement with loyal repeat customers, to stick it on a bottle without actually explaining what it is they mean by it, it's really sort of it's disingenuous to the customer, and in many ways it's a bit false, because they're not actually saying, "Oh, this is what this tastes like." It's just like, and stick it on as a blurb. And you get some guys come on and review stuff, and they'll say, "Oh, it's very smooth," and then they don't elaborate, so you don't actually know what that means. It just becomes a very sort of, it's smooth, that's okay. It just means I like it.
It's a throwaway description, really.
Yeah, it's a bit of fluff. It's a bit like whenever politicians come on and say, "Oh, we're going to make everything better," and blah 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 blah. Don't actually say how they're going to do it. It's just compassion babble. "Oh, I'll just come on now on a care." It doesn't actually mean anything.
Yeah, well, smooth as opposed to rough it could mean that. Yeah, I get you. There's Paul saying it means that youth and ladies who have been ignored by, in some cases, barred for whiskey advertisers are now being targeted. It's an endearing term that totally shuts down the argument that whiskey is a harsh. Yeah. Well,
Yeah, I suppose that's
sure.
probably a
Probably definitely
decent
an
enough
angle there.
reason, but it's not doing the customer any service, and it's certainly not doing the brand any decent, because it doesn't explain what it is, or doesn't explain what it means. It's just, again, it's like it's almost like whiskey babble. It just you just say it and that's okay. Everybody just goes along. Oh, that's okay.
Yeah.
So
you might as well say it's not teachers, says Connor. Tony Sillett says as smooth as a badger's derriere. And how about smooth as opposed to proper 12?
Okay, we'll give you that one, Sean. I mean, you can have that one. But proper 12 has smooth written on the tasting notes. And again, what the hell does it mean?
Should also have metal tin.
And yeah, I personally I really don't like the term, and as soon as I see it on a bottle of whiskey, it kind of puts me off, because they're not involving the customer. They're not telling the customer, the consumer, whatever way you want to put it, and letting people, giving them any information. It's just stick that on, and hopefully everybody goes, oh yeah, we'll give that a try. Yeah,
marketing buzzwords.
Yeah, it's just, but it's okay. I know it's to try and entice new customers and stuff, but it doesn't do anybody any favors, to be honest. Anyway, if maybe if it had a better definition, or the company came out and actually said this is what we mean by this, that would be a better job. But
I'm just waiting for Octomore or someone to come out and just say "P is fuck,"
This is as rough as sandpaper on your bollocks. Get them.
Like drinking Band-Aids and bog water.
Yeah, Lefroy, smooth Lefroy. But I mean, the thing is, Lefroy. There's plenty of Lefroys that don't have any alcohol burn particularly, but you wouldn't call them smooth.
No.
It's just that they're not balanced, if you like. They're just in your face.
Yeah.
So, would it be okay to say it's smooth? No, it wouldn't be.
Depends on what your taste is, I suppose. To some people, it might be smooth. No.
But anybody that decides, oh, Lefroy's smooth, really needs to go and take some sort of psychiatric evaluation. You know what I mean? I don't think
it is.
It's not smooth.
It's just lazy marketing. You're absolutely right. Yes, and I think that sums it up.
Well, if you ever see anybody, if you ever hear a reviewer saying, "Oh, this is very smooth" or whatever, just say, "Piss off." What do you mean? What do you mean by that? Tell them. The way I do with Justin. Well, tell me what you mean, Baldy.
I don't know. Listen, here, people are supporting me. Look at that there. He says, I'm bald as a cook myself, so I can't take the piss out of Justin. There you go. There you go.
Good man.
There we go. Listen, great show this week again, Card. Thanks very much for putting us in the picture. Weird things are afoot in the whiskey auction world. Next week,
we are going live. We are going to go to Alloa, over to the Clackmannshire Whiskey Festival. We are going to take a run over, and we're going to go live and take a run round and see what's going on. We'll be earlier. Now, we can't exactly tell you exactly what time it's going to be, because we'll just have to test new software. And also we have to get set up and whatever. But we will be going live on Saturday afternoon. And the reason being we're not going out at 10 o'clock is because we'll both be pissed as farts. Just clarify that now. Just put that out there and let us all deal with it. So yeah, we're going over and we'll check out what's going on over there.
And we haven't forgot there are a couple more bottles of the black bottle to go out in the post down south, but I took them off Marty and he went down south before me rather than me, but I might get down south, i.e. over to Donegal, which is Northern Ireland, further north than the south, but don't worry about that bit. Don't worry about that bit this coming week. So we should be with you sometime. We wouldn't want it any other way. Exactly. That's it. So you sometime in the afternoon, we'll do at least an hour. as long as I can stay sober, because it is extremely hard to work this stuff whenever you have any amount of drink in you.
I
as
don't
we
have that
learned last
problem.
week.
I may be pissed by the time you start watching, or getting more and more pissed as it goes on. We shall just wait and see. So anyway,
Yeah. Great show. Thanks for watching. Remember,
Listen, guys,
enter
thanks
the
very much.
competition.
Give me a shout.
During the week, I'll hit somebody up that knows the answers. All right. Take it easy.